She was leaving now. I'm
Uh,
free. I'm free
Fantastic.
for learning finally.
Awesome. It's always good to have time for learning, right? That's always great.
Yes. How are you
Uh,
performing?
Everything is good, thanks. I just had a. I am going to be taking an exam on November 5th, just for for school and for to go to to get a master's degree. I need to go back to graduate school, or I need to go to graduate school. So I need to take an exam. So I was studying for that exam and just resting. Went to the gym. Went outside. Uh, it was a nice day today.
Uh,
Yeah.
are you take vacation from Kalinga?
No, no, no. I'll be here. I'll be doing all my
Okay.
classes. Yeah.
It's maybe mm, hinder learn. Yes.
Well, actually, I like Colingo because, for example, the classes I have in the morning, classes I have in the evening, I have a nice schedule. I I wake up early in the morning and then I do some studying, and then I do, I go outside to the gym or something, come back, have dinner, and then maybe study a little bit, and then once again time for Colingo. So
Mm,
it's nice. It keeps me busy. Otherwise, if I didn't have classes in the morning, for example, I would be sleeping until maybe 9 o'clock or 8:30,
mm.
something like that, right? Now, because I have Colingo, I can wake up early and I can, get started on
How
my day.
how long you sleep? How hours in the day?
Probably around, let's see, I sleep 7 hours normally. Seven
Oh, it's
hours.
good.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. I go to sleep around midnight, wake up around 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock. It's nice.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. I I try to maintain a good sleep schedule because otherwise it's very difficult to study or do anything if you don't have sleep.
I see. I understand you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
try to read and read in English with dictionary. It's difficult. I'm going to sleep. Half hour and I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I make a small nap, awake and going to read and go to sleep. Uh, only read is very difficult in English.
Yeah, no, reading definitely depends on the book, but sometimes even if I like a book that is a little bit, maybe the book is interesting for me and I start reading it, sometimes I fall asleep.
Yes.
Maybe my eyes just can't focus, in the afternoon or at night. Sometimes people read before they go to sleep, a lot of people. But for me, sometimes I can't read. I look at the book and I fall asleep.
Uh,
So,
and when I learn, uh, when it was some boring subject like philosophy, I
mhm.
open the book and I go sleep
Yeah.
from first row.
What's
This was
the
so philosophy. It was a boring. When I learned in the institute,
uh,
uh, uh, one of subjects was philosophy. This was so boring for me.
do you think that's the most boring subject for you, philosophy?
Yes, it was. I don't know what now. It was before 35 years. But
Yeah.
and six life philosophy, economy. I know social economy. This was things without sense.
Yeah, no, for me, philosophy I think would also be very boring for me, honestly. I don't remember the last time I read anything regarding philosophy. I think, just fall asleep also. But for me, history, I really like reading about different countries, different cultures, and history. So Sometimes history books are really interesting for me. I don't fall asleep immediately, but uh, if it's uh, if it's a good novel, also like a good literature, right? Maybe action, maybe it's an action book, or maybe it's a mystery book or something like that. Those are always very interesting for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Me too. I
It's much
like
better
science,
than how,
read science fiction, fantasy. It's not make any sense, but it's process. It's good process
yeah, yeah.
for escape from reality a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Escaping from reality, right? We all need that. Sometimes we escape from reality by watching movies, by, resting, sleeping, dreaming, reading, so many different things, right?
Uh, People make bad ways, take bad ways like drug, alcohol, but read books. Reading books is innocent way.
Exactly. A lot safer than taking drugs or drinking alcohol. Yeah. We don't want to do too much of the bad stuff, right? That would probably, I mean, I don't know, honestly, here, I mean, I think, it's a problem in really every country, but here in the United States, a lot of people are, they use drugs, they use alcohol to not only escape reality, but they see it as just recreational. They do it for fun. They don't do it when they need to escape. It's their habit that they do it, you
I
know.
don't understand these people. Never, never. I not try uh, mm, drugs and alcohol a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't like a lot of alcohol, and
yeah.
not understand people who drink a lot. But I see all day.
Hmm.
I have friends who drink all day, one, two, three bottles
In one day.
in one day.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
alcoholist, and he's working, has family.
Wow.
Yes,
How does he work when he has so much alcohol in his body?
he drink and eat a lot of, and he has a strong body. He was circus artist.
Uh-huh.
Mm, it's rest of his health he has.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, I guess if you can physically support, so much alcohol and still be able to eat, good food, then maybe it's not that bad. But normally here, here in the U.S., a lot of young people, they do what we call in English we say binge drinking, right? And binge drinking means you just drink to get drunk. That is your only objective. You are drinking just to get drunk. You're not drinking because it's, one glass of wine with your dinner or one can of, beer or one glass of beer. No, it's you are drinking with the intention. You're 100% you want to get drunk, right? A very serious problem, right? All the university cities, like my city, there's a large university. If you go right now, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, you will see so many students just drinking outside. They're not drinking; they are already drunk, and they are walking outside. They don't know where they are. Sometimes they are walking into the street. A car hits them. They get injured. Sometimes they die from these things, right? Or even worse, they start driving when they are drunk, right? And
Mm.
that causes a lot of problems. So they get into accidents, they kill other people, they die, So this entire idea of binge drinking, it's a big, big, big problem in the U.S., especially among the college students.
What do you say? I don't think in the US have this problem. I
Yeah,
think
no,
I think our country too. After pubs, youngster going to pubs and all night in the pub. In the mornings, come back to home and make accident, cars accident. A lot of this
yeah.
problem.
What's the rule in Israel? Is it? I'm sure it's 100% illegal to drink when you drive, right?
I think under 18, not 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 sell the drunk to people less 18.
Less than 18. Uh-huh.
But it's not making. It's not in all places.
Oh, really?
There, there are places who uh, mm, break the rules. The
That's
shops, the shops break the rules.
that's very interesting, because here it's a big, 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 big problem if you break the rules, right? You have to be 21 in the U.S. to drink, not
Right.
18. So yeah, you have to be
Mhm.
21. So many of the students when they first enter the university, they are 18 or 19, right? They can still get their hands on alcohol. They ask the older students to buy for them, or they go to some store and they buy. But if you are a shopkeeper or if you have a store and you sell alcohol to somebody below 21, they can take away your license to sell alcohol, right? They can take it away, and it causes a lot of problems. And here there are only two states in the United States where if you drink and drive, if you are driving and you're drunk, there are only two states where doing that is not a felony, right? Felony is a very serious problem with the police, right? If you have a
Mhm.
felony, then it's on your record, right? You can't remove that from your record. You have to register with the government. You have to do lots of paperwork. Sometimes, if you have a felony and you want to get a job, some jobs they won't give you because you have a felony, right? So it's a big problem. Every state in the United States, except for two, if you drink and drive, it's a felony. One of those two states is my state, right?
Mhm.
If you drink and drive in my state, it's not a felony. It's just a misdemeanor. Misdemeanor. So that's one level less than a felony, right? You have a felony, which is a very high crime, big problem with the police, and then one level below that is a misdemeanor. And misdemeanor is, I think you get a fine, but you don't go to jail, right? Felony, I'm very sure they take you to jail for at least for one night. Yeah. So it's a
But
big
you pay
problem.
money. You pay money, not go to jail, but pay money. Yes.
Yeah, if you get a misdemeanor, then you pay money. You get a big fine, right? Maybe $4,000, $5,000 fine. But if it's a felony, then you go to jail, and if you want to leave jail, then you have to pay money. Yeah.
Mm.
So in English we say, for example, we say you have to post bail, right? Bail is money that you give to the court to say that you will not run away. You will come back. It's
Ah, I
okay.
see.
It's okay, but you'll come back. So if you get taken to jail, you have to post bail, right? And depending on how serious the crime is, bail might be very high. Like if you kill somebody, bail could be $1 million. You know.
Mhm. But
So yeah,
but
it's crazy.
user have this money.
If you have this money, then you can get out. Then you can go back home, right? You
Mm.
can go home and you can prepare your case, talk to your lawyer, and things like that. But for very serious cases, they don't have bail. They say, for example, he has been arrested without the possibility of bail or without bail. For very serious cases, they will just keep you in jail, right?
Mhm.
So very interesting. Do you know the rule? For example, in Israel, if you are driving drunk, do the police catch you and take you to jail?
Uh, for control, I don't know these rules because I try not to break rules.
Of course.
I it's not so interesting. But I know if you drunk, you bad things you and police catch you,
Hmm.
uh, you lose your driver's license
Oh,
and go.
wow.
Yes, and you go into the court and uh, pay a lot of only if you drunk,
Uh-huh.
and not matter how much you drunk. Uh,
Wow.
maybe a little, maybe a lot. It's not matter. Say catch you, okay. Court, big problem.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm reading here just because I'm so interested in this. It's saying Israel 24 milligrams per 100 milliliters is the limit for.
I don't think it's actual information because
Uh-huh.
they change it all time more and more less and less. This
Uh-huh.
normal make this normal less and less.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. That's interesting, you know. Yeah, same with me, Gregory. I have no idea really why people drink like this or, why it's such a big culture, in the US, like especially in the university, it's a very serious thing, right? When you have children that are just, 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and they are drinking so much that, I don't know where they
I have answer for you.
uh-huh.
There are people who enjoy of it, very enjoy of it. For example, my friend. I
Hmm.
speak of. He enjoy of alcohol. I'm not. I'm not like him. I enjoy of a couple of alcohol, but he enjoy a lot and more and more and more. It's make feel well for him, and there are a lot of people who like him.
Hmm. Yeah. But honestly, I don't know if it's the taste of the alcohol that they like or if it's
No
maybe
effect of
the effect of
alcohol.
the alcohol, right? Yeah. Yeah. It makes you escape reality, just like you said. Yeah.
No, he not escape of reality.
Uh-huh.
He not unconscious. He conscious and he speak normal speaking and he not normal, but he speaking and behavior normal behavior.
Uh-huh.
Uh, just enjoy of this effect.
Interesting, interesting. Very cool, Gregory. Well, Gregory, it was great to talk about that stuff. I just want to very quickly talk about what we're going to mention in this lesson. So, the lesson really we are focusing on yes, no questions. So, it's a part of the conversation when we look at, in English, normally when we ask questions, how do we make questions in which the answer is yes or no, right? So, for example, we might have, you can ask somebody very basic things, are you from Israel? Yes, I'm from Israel. Do you speak English? Yes, I speak English, right? So many times in English, we can use the verb to be, right? I am, you are, he is, she is, uh, we are, they are, right? We can use that verb to form questions, right? So, is your mother okay? Maybe your mother or somebody in your family was, sick or in the hospital or something. Is your family okay? Yes, they are okay, right? All any other type of example where we are using the verb to be, right? We can make into yes or no questions, right? So, Gregory, would you mind giving me an example of that kind of a sentence where you're using the verb to be and
Okay.
making a sentence? Yeah.
Can I use form do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Do you have a girlfriend?
Do I have a girlfriend? Yes, I have a girlfriend. Yeah. So exactly, right? Do you have a girlfriend, right? So when we are not using the verb to be, right, we can use the verb, any other verb that we want, right? So your verb was have, and when you use that word have, that verb have, you also have to use do, right? So do you have a girlfriend? Fantastic. Yes, I do have a girlfriend, right? Let me ask you something, Gregory. Um, uh, do you enjoy alcohol as much as your friend who was in the circus?
No, I'm not. Uh, Lucky I'm not enjoy alcohol like him.
Fantastic, right? I do not know, I do not enjoy alcohol as much as him, right? So
Mm,
good. So yeah, it would be, let's see, I do not like alcohol as much as him, right? Fantastic. So we also use the do in our answer, right? So if I ask you, do you like alcohol as much as your friend? No, I do not like alcohol as much as my friend or as much as him, right? So that's what we really want to be sure about. Forming these questions, the biggest thing is not yes or no. That's the easy part, right? The biggest thing is writing the rest of the sentence, right? Or speaking the rest of the sentence. Do you? No, I do not. Does he? No, he does not, right?
mhm,
Will you? No, I will not, right? Or yes, I will, right? So creating that sentence is really what makes it a little bit more complicated. So let's look at the next type of question. If I ask, for example, um, let's see. Uh, how about this one? So I'm going to use the present perfect in this example, Gregory.
mhm.
Gregory, have you ever visited Beersheba?
Yes, have. I have. Yes, I have.
Uh-huh, fantastic. Yes, I have visited Beersheba, right?
Yes, I have a friend in Beersheba, and I have visited Beersheba a lot.
Fantastic, right? Yes, I have visited Beersheba. I have a friend there, and I have visited it a lot, right? Great job. And you can ask me a question like that too, Gregory.
Mhm. Farhan, uh, are you travel a lot in the world?
Uh-huh. Yes, I do travel a lot in the world, or all over the world, right? So
I ask you, are you? And it's not right.
it's actually better to say, Gregory, do you travel all over the world?
Do you travel? I
Uh-huh.
never know what used are you and what when used do you.
Well, this is the thing, right, Gregory? So if you use another verb, right? Like if you're saying travel, then you have to use do, right?
Ah, I see.
Yeah, if it's just the one verb, like are you from Beersheba? No, I am not from Beersheba, right? Because are is the verb, right? So when we
Mm,
have another verb besides am, is, are, then we use do, right? So do you enjoy, traveling? Yes, I enjoy traveling. Do you enjoy alcohol? No, I don't enjoy alcohol, right? So when you have another verb, we should use do. But if you just have the I am, you are, he is, she is, then we don't use do,
hmm
right?
I see. No, I understand. Because before I asked one teacher and not he is not uh, give me right answer like you now.
Oh, okay. No, fantastic. If I can help, let me know for sure. So, yes. So, do you enjoy traveling? Or did you travel all over the world, right? How do we make it the past tense, right? Do you travel becomes did you travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so do is do or does in the present tense. Did is the past tense, right? So let me ask you another question. Um, did your friend who enjoys to drink work in the circus?
Uh, no, he didn't. Uh,
Uh-huh.
he didn't now work in circus. He work in the school of circus, who learn kids uh, to circus,
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
but not work himself.
uh-huh. But did he work? So this is past tense, Gregory, right? Did he work in the circus before?
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't.
I
Ah,
see. Yes, yes, he did.
he did, right? Because now he's the teacher, but before he was a performer, right?
Yeah, I see. Yes, he did. He worked in the circus.
Yeah, right. So the does and the do, remember those are the present tense, and when we use did, we're talking about the past tense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So you can ask me something now, Gregory. Using, let's use do, does, did, whatever you like.
Mm-hmm. Farhan, uh, did you learn well in the school?
Yes, I learned very well in school. I learned a lot in school, right? Yeah, fantastic. So you asked that very well, Gregory, right? You asked that correctly. So did you learn? The thing is, in English, when we say if somebody learned well, right, it's actually better to say something like, did you learn a lot in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the really kind of the way we explain it in English is if you learn something well, then you are learning a lot of things, you are understanding a lot of things, right? So yeah, you can say did you learn well in school? That actually works. I think it works really well. But in terms of maybe the common conversation, people say, for example, did you learn a lot in school? Right? So let's say, somebody's child comes back from school and, you ask your child, during dinner, hey, honey, did you learn a lot in school today? Right? Or what did you learn in school today? Right? They ask specific questions like to make sure that the child actually learned something, Sometimes if you ask a child a yes or no question, they will just say yes or no, right? They're not going to give you any details. So
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes parents are
As
very
usual.
creative. Exactly, right? So it's like, did you have a fun day in school? Yeah, I had a fun day. There's going to be no details because they don't want to talk to you
Because
about.
it's difficult for a small child to tell details.
Absolutely, absolutely, right? So little kids, they use yes or no questions a lot, right? So yeah, did you learn a lot in school? Yes, I learned a lot in school, right? So let's look at another type of example. So present tense, do and does. Past tense, we use did, right? And then if we want, we can also use words or verbs like can or, may or should, right? So these are what we call auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are verbs that we use to help other verbs, right? So auxiliary verbs are verbs that help other verbs, and we have, for example, can, may, and should, right? So for example, Gregory, can you speak Hebrew?
Yes, I can.
Uh-huh.
I speak Hebrew not so good like I want, but I speak in work and at home. I speak Hebrew.
Mazel tov.
Thank you very much.
That's all I know. That's the only Hebrew I know. I don't. Oh, I know Shalom Aleichem and Mazel tov. That's it.
It's like Arabic.
It
Uh,
is. Yeah, yeah. That part I know. And in Russian, I know nothing almost. I just know. I think I told you the very first class. I think you were in my class. I told you that I only know how to say Perestan kurit.
Sorry.
Perestan kurit.
I understand you.
No
Stop.
smoke or
Stop smoke.
stop smoking. Exactly, because the reason I know that is I had a friend in first year of my university. He was from Russia, and his parents would call him every day, right? To ask him what are you doing? His name was also Grigori actually, and he said he would always talk to his parents, and we were around him, and we would yell into the phone, Grigori, perestan kurit, perestan kurit. But,
You know,
yeah. Go ahead, yeah.
I learned Germany in the school and in the institute, and I remember only one phrase. Entschuldigen Sie bitte, darf man meinen Platz nehmen? It's uh, I ask teacher, um, sorry, I late. Uh, Let me go to the class. That's
Uh-huh.
all. Because I use this use this sentence. It's all I remember from Germany. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I was learning in the school 4 years and in the uh, institute 2 years, and I not remember nothing.
Yeah, it happens like that sometimes with languages, right? Some languages are just not that easy, I think. When you start learning it, it's something that I think if you don't have that connection with the language, it's very difficult to learn it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was obligation learn some language in the school, but I don't like German at all, and
Hmm.
I don't speak.
Yeah. But for us, it was really funny because, Grigori, he didn't smoke. He never smoked. But we wanted his parents to think maybe he was smoking so he could get in trouble. So Grigori, перестань курить. It's all the time. That's the one thing I remember. But it was really fun. So yes, Grigori, you do speak Hebrew, right? Fantastic. Do you speak Hebrew? Yes, I speak Hebrew, right? You can
I
ask me
can.
another. I'm sorry. Can exactly, right? Can you speak Hebrew? Yes, I can speak Hebrew, right? So now, Grigori, why don't you ask me a question with using one of these auxiliary verbs?
Okay. Farhan, uh, should you mount into the hills?
Should I what again, Grigori?
Mounting to the hills.
Should I mountain to the hills?
Yes, I don't remember. Uh, yes, yes. Something wrong with my question?
No, I'm just trying to think. I don't know what you're asking. What's the verb in your sentence, Gregory? If you don't mind me asking.
Mountain, climb,
Oh,
climb.
yes, 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 yes. Good,
This
good,
is
good, good. Should you? No, that's fine. Should you climb the hills, right?
yeah.
Yeah, should you climb the hills? No, I should not climb the hills. It's dark outside now, right?
Ah,
I can't
not
see
now.
anything.
I not mean no. I mean as usual.
Oh,
Sometimes
normally. Uh-huh. So we
normally.
actually we actually can't use should in this example then, Gregory, right? Because if you use should, you're asking for almost like should
Immediately.
or you're asking if it's good to do that, right?
Uh,
Like should I close the window? No, don't close the window because it's warm outside,
mhm,
right? So yeah, if you're talking about something normally, you should use do again, right?
mhm.
So then how would you change this to use do?
Uh, Farhan, can you climb the mountain?
Fantastic. Can you climb the mountains, huh?
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, Gregory. I think you wanted to say something else.
Yes, yes. I mean, climb the mountain.
Uh-huh. Can you climb the mountains? No, I can only climb hills, not mountains. Just small
Uh-huh.
hills, right?
Small.
Small hills, yeah, fantastic. So you can say, can you climb mountains? Or if you mean something normally, you can also say, do you climb mountains, right? Is this something maybe you enjoy doing? Do you do this? Do you speak Italian? Can you speak Italian? All of these things, right? You can use do or can. So good job with that also, Gregory. So any questions, Gregory, about yes or no questions and how we make them, how we use them?
No, it's enough. I learn a lot. It's in my head. It's take time. Uh, replace it in my head. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Fantastic, fantastic. Great, great, great. Thank you. So let's get started then, Gregory, on our article, right? And we have one article today that I think is really interesting because recently a lot of my articles are actually from the time when the U.S. government was shut down, right? And we are looking at a situation that happened after the government was shut down, right? So the government was shut down, and as a result,
can
many
I
people. Yeah,
ask
go
you,
ahead. Yeah,
what
yeah,
is it?
absolutely.
Shutdown.
Shutdown means closed, right? Something is closed, right?
I don't understand situation. What is it? Government shutdown.
So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I ask you, what is it? Shutdown government not working?
Yeah, so that was the case, right? That's actually what happened. So the government, in the United States government, for about 3 weeks, many of the important uh, departments of the government were closed,
Ah,
right?
it's,
Because we didn't have money. There was no money. The government stopped working because there was two of the politicians, two of the groups, so the main party and then also the opposition party, they could not decide on money, so they decided to close the government, right? And many, many programs were affected, right? So still, for example, the army was still working. Uh, Post office was still working, right? But other things were not working, right? So people who depended on the government for money, for food, those programs did not start, right? They were shut down, right? So it was a big problem, right? Because it's a big country. I mean, 300 million people, and to have a government that is not helping people, right, was a big situation. So one of the things that happened was poor people, right? Poor people, also older poor people, right? Older poor people in the United States, they depend on a program, many different programs actually, but they depend on some programs that are very important for them. If these programs don't work, they don't get food, right?
mm-hmm.
So there was one of these situations was this well this article looks at one of these situations. What did
I
the
see.
poor people do, the older poor people, when the government shut down? They didn't have food, right? So we're going to take a look at that. But before I jump into that, Gregory, um, have you ever worked with maybe in a kitchen or some kind of a here in the United States we call them soup kitchen, right? They don't have to serve just soup. They can serve big meal, lunch, dinner, anything. People sometimes they work in these soup kitchens to they volunteer their time. They want to help the poor people. Have you ever done that before, Gregory? Did you ever work in a
No,
place like that?
I'm not. Never.
You didn't do anything like that before. When I was a child, actually, I remember I worked in a soup kitchen for, I think, a few months when I was in middle school, right? And it was a very, very nice experience for me because I could see, helping people, helping poor people, and they were very happy for their help, right? So it was a very, it opened up a lot of experiences for me because, you know, sometimes I don't realize that there are poor people. So let us take a look then, Gregory. Let me open the article very quickly, and we can get started. So here's the article, and I'm going to screen share very quickly so we can see it.
When it
Oh,
was, Farhan?
the government shutdown?
Yeah.
Government shutdown lasted from, it started, I think, in end of September, and it finished last week. It ended last week.
Ah, just now, this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah, I
yeah.
don't.
So it was a big problem, unfortunately, but there was nothing we could do until the politicians stopped fighting. So shutdown leaves some seniors. So seniors are older people with worried about their next meal, right?
Hmm.
So this is what we see. People donate cans and peanut butter and soup and all kinds of things, to the poor people. So it's saying, you've no doubt heard of senior meals on wheels, preparing hot meals delivered to the elderly. But there's a different meal program that's been put on hold because of the partial government shutdown. It's the USDA's Commodity Supplemental Food Program. So this is a big division of the government. The USDA is the United States Department of Agriculture, right? So
Hmm.
they control the food and all those kinds of things. So this program, Commodity Supplemental Food Program, was actually shut down, right? In Michigan's western Kent County alone, more than 1,300 low-income seniors depend on the program. For them, it's a nutrition lifeline. They can't just go to a food pantry for similar assistance. Bill Anderson, 81 years old, right, and his wife June, 83 years old, are among those affected. Medical emergencies have depleted their savings. Social Security provides enough money to pay the utilities and insurance, but they turn to the government food program for meals. They rely on weekly deliveries of nutritionally balanced surplus food. The pantry gives you food, but not really enough to put in your refrigerator, June Anderson says. I would get out and beg before I'd let us go hungry, Bill Anderson adds. Ron Cussin, who boxes up the basics that come from USDA's Commodity Supplemental Food Program, says usually the packages include some dried milk, pasta, and two different types of juice. You qualify for the program if you're over 60 with an annual income under $15,000. Distribution agencies in 40 states and two Native American reservations hand out the food packages. In Michigan, 29 agencies feed tens of thousands of residents, or they did until October 3 when the USDA stopped reimbursing those agencies. So, you know, this is a very, very, very difficult thing, right? Um, During his last delivery, so this is one of the people who was delivering this food to the old people, right? Ron.
Hmm.
Ron met with the seniors face to face. It was difficult for everybody. It was heartbreaking. It really was to talk to either seniors or apartment complexes that I deal with. It was tough. They're like family to me, right? Uh, so it causes a lot of frustration. I mean, these old people, right? They are depending on the government, right? And I mean, can you imagine, Gregory, 81 years old, 83 years old, right?
Hmm.
These people should not have to be begging for food from the government, right? I mean, what's your reaction to this article?
I don't understand what reason of this situation. What happened? Uh, why it's happened? The politician makes this decision.
I think honestly, Gregory, it's because they have their own idea about what is right for the people, right? Politicians, the one party, we have the Barack Obama's party and we have the opposition party, right? The opposition party believes that they are representing the people.
Hmm.
They don't want the Barack Obama's government to have more power to control, money, control different programs, things like that, right? It's all politicians. There was nothing about this shutdown that people in the United States, we did not vote for this shutdown. We did not want this shutdown. We did not approve this shutdown, right? It was our representatives, right? All these politicians, sitting in Washington, many of them, of course, they want to help us, and they didn't want the shutdown. But there were enough of them who wanted the shutdown, right? The shutdown for them was a way to say, listen, if we want, we can stop the government, right? They
Hmm.
wanted to show their power. They wanted to show their power to Obama, to the other people, right? And that's really what's very frustrating. I mean, when you look at these poor people, when the government stops working, even if just a little bit of the government stops working, so many people are affected by that, right? I mean, 81-year-old man and his 83-year-old wife, they should be relaxing, they should be traveling, they should be, retired people.
I see. Now I understand.
Yeah.
What my reaction? It's tragedy for people without ability to live without this help, government help. It's big tragedy, and it's terrible stress for them.
Mhm.
And I think it's not should be happen
Yeah,
in United States. It's not humanity.
I know, right? It doesn't make sense. I mean, are there similar programs like this in Israel that you've heard of in terms of helping the poor people?
Yes, we have kitchen like you say, and we have a lot of social program. These people, on very old people, live in special houses for old people, and if they have money for this, they pay for this, and if not, government pay for him. It's
Hmm.
not the same houses, not the same comfort and treatment, but it's still it's uh, medicine for him and treatment for him, and uh, they depend of help, government help.
Hmm.
A lot of old people from Russia, uh, Jewish from Russia, uh, like me, say not working enough in Israel, uh, say immigrant old and not working, so they have not pension, they not have own house, so government trade for him.
Hmm. So people who don't have the pensions, who don't have a lot of the security kind of that the Israelis have, right? Maybe foreigners who come to Israel when they are older, right? These people are helped by the government with these programs.
Yes, and not only, for example, mothers without husband.
Hmm.
Uh, Government help him, give him apartment and help for children
Hmm.
and family, a lot of children. But
Yeah.
it's going to be smaller and smaller. This help less and less.
Do the people of Israel, do they support these programs, or do they think that is it I mean, is it very expensive to do this program? I think maybe it is, right?
Yes, it's a new tendency. Say no. Now just when people who say uh, against families in a lot of children. It's as usual. It's religion families, Arab families, on Jewish families, religion in a lot of children. So others say why we should help him.
Hmm.
Uh, it's not good. I think it's not good.
Hmm. So you don't like the fact that they're helping so many people?
No, opposite. I like. But I think only weak people help, but only who need help. Because
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you begin help so much as people not want work, there is kind of people who not want work. Why work? Government help for them.
Uh-huh.
So
So you are afraid, Gregory, that if this expands to include more people, people will start to abuse the system, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it happens a lot in this country also, Gregory. 100% the same situation, you know. The government helps, you know, for somebody who is 81 years old, 83-year-old wife. Of course, you know, they don't have the money because, you know, in the article they said that, you know, this husband-wife couple, they don't have the money because they spent all their money on their health care, on medicine, on maybe surgery, on doctors, you know, those kinds of things, right? So these, I don't think they are, you know, abusing the system, but there are many people who maybe they have a lot of children or they don't have a good job, but they still don't work and they depend just on the government for the money.
Mhm.
You know, it's a big problem here, and we say that they are abusing the system because the system is for the people who really cannot work, right? Old people, sick people, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
they say people, just lazy people,
Uh-huh.
say not want work. Uh, they prefer not to do anything, and government treat for them. It's not good.
Hmm. Hmm. And the government gets the money from the people who work, right? From the
Yeah,
taxes,
yeah.
taxes and fees.
From me and you,
Exactly, right? From people
and
who work.
we work hard. And we have family too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, right. That's the truth everywhere. So, what do you think, Gregory? What is one way the shutdown is over, but there is a possibility that maybe 2 months from now, just before Hanukkah, just before Christmas, right? They are we have heard the opposition saying maybe there will be another shutdown in December, right? And that would be a disaster. I mean, can you imagine the Christmas time? Everybody wants to be with their family. Nobody wants to be, without a job. And people are buying gifts and happy time celebration for everybody. The opposition has said maybe we will do a shutdown in December. Um, how do we think we should prepare for that? We have 2 months, right? How can we prepare for that?
Collect food and clothes.
Yeah, right? Collect food, collect clothes, help these people. But honestly, I mean, I don't know if we can do enough, right? Because there are, like we said, thousands of people who depend on this program in maybe every city, right? Every county, every district, right? We have thousands of people who need this help. I mean, I don't
Uh,
know what's going to happen.
People show together and make protest, social protest, and politicians understand it's not good for them.
I think so. I think so. I think especially if it's something like in the Christmas time, it might be very difficult for the same politicians to get reelected, right? Because everything for a politician
I
is
understand in US people need warm, a lot of warm in houses. Without warm, just going to dead.
uh-huh. Exactly, because it's so
Uh,
cold here, right?
yes, in Israel it's not so big problem. We have winter like yours autumn.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it's possible live without warming,
Hmm.
but in
Live live
US,
without heating in the house.
yes, heating.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Gregory, that's 100% true. Like right now in my house, not my house, but but my small apartment, I have heating in my house right now. In this apartment, even though it's not very cold outside, right? I still like the heating because it keeps the inside nice. Maybe at night it gets very cold, and when I wake up, I'm shaking. So I like to keep the house nice and warm on the inside. And it's very true. Another big thing that we see for some of
how
these.
you heat it? You have conditioner or what
Yeah,
is it?
it's just a heater that sits in the corner of the room, and it sends the heat, all the
How is working? Electricity or oil?
electricity. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's money too for you.
yeah. It is money, right? And I have to pay it every month, right?
Yes.
So it's something that is it costs money, right? And these old people, some of these old people, they don't have this kind of money. They honestly don't,
Yeah.
right? They honestly don't have this money, so it's a big problem. I mean, they are every year some old people they actually die in their homes because they don't have heating.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
absolutely. Well, Gregory, it was such a good conversation for this class.
I enjoyed a few company, Farhan, thank you, and
Yeah,
for your conversation, for our conversation. Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. You're very welcome. Did you have any questions about anything we talked about?
I say you truly, it was hard to me speak with you. Only I and you, because it's when it's several students, it's easy. One speak, other speak. You have time for prepare your answer, but it's hard. I tired, but it's I enjoy a lot of your
Oh, thank you so much,
class.
no, Gregory. That's great. I have another class, but if you don't want to listen more to me, which is normal, then that's completely fine, Gregory. But thank you for a great class, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye
take care,
bye.
Gregory. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
One can of beer or one glass of beer. No, it's you are drinking with the intention. You're 100% you want to get drunk, right? A very serious problem, right? All the university cities, like my city, there's a large university. If you go right now, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, you will see so many students just drinking outside. They're not drinking; they are already drunk, and they are walking outside. They don't know where they are. Sometimes they are walking into the street. A car hits them. They get injured. Sometimes they die from these things, right? Or even worse, they start driving when they are drunk, right? And
Mm.
that causes a lot of problems. So they get into accidents, they kill other people, they die. So this entire idea of binge drinking, it's a big problem in the U.S., especially among the college students.
What do you say? I don't think in the US uh, have this problem. I
Yeah,
think
no,
I think our country too. After pubs, youngster going to pubs and all night in the pub, in the mornings come back to home and make accident, cars accident, a lot of this
yeah.
problem.
What's the rule in Israel? Is it? I'm sure it's 100% illegal to drink when you drive, right?
I think under 18, not 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 sell the drunk to people less 18.
Listen, it's a country, but here in the United States, a lot of people are, they use drugs, they use alcohol to not only escape reality, but they see it as just recreational. They do it for fun. They don't do it when they need to escape. It's their habit that they do it, you
I
know.
don't understand these people. Never I not try uh, mm, drugs and alcohol a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of alcohol. uh,
Yeah.
not understand people who drink a lot. But I see all day.
Mhm.
I have friends who drink all day, one, two, three bottles
In one day.
in one day.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
alcoholist, and he's working, has family.
Wow.
Yes,
How does he work when he has so much alcohol in his body?
he drink and eat a lot of, and he has a strong body. He was circus artist.
Uh-huh.
Mm, it's rest of his health he has.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, I guess if your body, if you can physically support, so much alcohol and still be able to eat, good food, then maybe it's not that bad. But normally here, here in the U.S., a lot of young people, they do what we call, in English we say binge drinking, right? And binge drinking means you just drink to get drunk. That is your only objective. You are drinking just to get drunk. You're not drinking because it's, one glass of wine with your dinner or 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock. It's nice.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. I I try to maintain a good sleep schedule because otherwise it's very difficult to study or do anything if you don't have sleep.
I see. I understand you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
try to read and read in English this dictionary. It's difficult. I'm going to sleep. Half hour and I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I make a small nap, awake and going to read and to sleep. Uh, only read is very difficult in English.
Yeah, no, reading definitely depends on the book, but sometimes even if I like a book that is a little bit, maybe the book is interesting for me and I start reading it, sometimes I fall asleep.
Yes.
Maybe my eyes just can't focus, in the afternoon or at night. Sometimes people read before they go to sleep, a lot of people. But for me, sometimes I can't read. I look at the book and I fall asleep. So,
And when I learn, uh, when it was some boring subject like philosophy, I
mhm.
open the book and I go sleep
Yeah.
from first row.
What's
It was
the
so philosophy. It was boring. When I learned in the institute,
uh,
uh, uh, one of subjects was philosophy. This was so boring for me.
do you think that's the most boring subject for you, philosophy?
Yes, it was. I don't know what now. It was before 35 years. Look, she was living now. I'm
Uh-huh.
free. I'm free
Fantastic.
for learning. For
Awesome. It's always good to have time for learning, right? That's always great.
yes. How are you,
Uh,
Parkman?
Everything is good, thanks. I just had I am going to be taking an exam on November 5th, just for, for school and to go to, to get a master's degree. I need to go back to graduate school, or I need to go to graduate school. So I need to take an exam. So I was studying for that exam and just resting. Went to the gym. Went outside. Uh, it was a nice day today.
Uh,
Yeah.
are you take vacation from Kalinga?
No, no, no. I'll be here. I'll be doing all my
Okay.
classes. Yeah.
It's maybe mm, hinder learn. Yes.
Well, actually, I like Colingo because, for example, the classes I have in the morning, classes I have in the evening, I have a nice schedule. I I wake up early in the morning and then I do some studying and then I run. I do, I go outside to the gym or something, come back, have dinner, and then maybe study a little bit, and then once again time for Kolingo. So
Mm,
it's nice. It keeps me busy. Otherwise, if I didn't have classes in the morning, for example, I would be sleeping until maybe 9 o'clock or 8:30,
mm.
something like that, right? Now, because I have Kolingo, I can wake up early and I can, get started on my day.
How long you sleep? How hours in the day?
Probably around, let's see, I sleep 7 hours normally. 7 hours.
It's good.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. I go to sleep around midnight, wake up around 7 o'clock.
But
Yeah.
and sixth life philosophy, economy. I know social economy. This was seems without sense.
Yeah, no, for me, philosophy, I think would also be very boring for me, honestly. I don't remember the last time I read anything regarding philosophy. I would, I think, just fall asleep also. But for me, history, I really like reading about different countries, different cultures, and history. So sometimes history books are really interesting for me. I don't fall asleep immediately, but uh, if it's uh, if it's a good novel, also like a good literature, right? Maybe action, maybe it's an action book, or maybe it's a mystery book or something like that. Those are always very interesting for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Me too. I
It's much
like
better
science,
than. Huh?
like read science fiction, fantasy. It's not make any sense, but it's process. It's good process
Yeah, yeah.
for escape from reality a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Escaping from reality, right? We all need that. Sometimes we escape from reality by watching movies, by, resting, sleeping, dreaming, reading, so many different things, right?
People make bad ways, take bad ways like drug, alcohol, but read books. Reading books is innocent way.
Exactly. A lot safer than taking drugs or drinking alcohol. Yeah. We don't want to do too much of the bad stuff, right? That would probably, I mean, I don't know, honestly, here, I mean, I think, it's a problem in really every